Yo, anybody see me? All right. I'm really bored, this whole coronavirus thing, and I thought I would do a live video. And I wanted to, there's a little article I wrote a couple years ago, and it was how to be an excellent climber. And it was, I got the idea from Tree Buzz. There was a deal on Tree Buzz where it was we were talking about how to be an excellent ground man. So these are not all original ideas of mine. So I got the list right here, so I'm going to check it out and let me know if you guys can hear me, and make sure the audio is good. I'm not really sure. And just hit me up if the audio is good. So anyway, how to be an excellent climber. The number one thing it starts off with is, was that loud and clear? Okay. It says, stay humble. And how to be an excellent climber is you stay humble. And the reason you stay humble is being humble is a modest or low view of one's own importance. So you just don't think you're too great or whatever, you know. But the main point about humility is you're always willing to learn. You're always to admit you don't know it all and keep moving forward and keep advancing. Because if you're not humble, you get real proud and arrogant. And I remember me like 20-something years ago when I was climbing, I wouldn't listen to nobody. I wouldn't take no advice. I would try to argue, because back then, you know, in the 90s, we were doing it without, safety equipment, hard hats. Heck, I didn't even have a lanyard or a handsaw. And so we would just do it any old Yahoo way, you know. And I thought I was right. And I wasn't humble. And so I wouldn't never grow and never listen. But fortunately, through circumstance, through the competitions, and, it forced me to take a look at myself and be like, hey, dude, you need to get better, and you're really not what you think you are. So that's the first thing, is stay humble. And the second thing is always stay positive. Negativity can destroy a job site and company cultures. And I'm sure everybody's seen that. When you got that negative guy, he or she can be a cancer towards the crew. And it really affects productivity. It products camaraderie and just that whole teamwork atmosphere you have going. And so that's and I was a very negative person back then in the 90s, and I was just always upset, always angry. And fortunately, a lot of those characteristics about me changed too. Never stop learning and progressing, and that goes back to humility. You know, you just keep moving forward and trying to get better. And sometimes I get where I'm like, I kind of feel like I know a lot, and then I see the game progressing ahead of me again, and I'm like, man, I need to step out and keep progressing and keep learning and keep enjoying the process, of trying to be the best I can be as a climber, And take honest feedback from others about your climbing. Be open to criticism. Basically, be coachable. And that's something that's real important, because if you're not coachable, you won't listen to nobody. You won't learn. You won't progress. And you'll continually think you're on a level where you don't need to learn or progress, So, and that all goes back to humility, And I also think climb with climbers that are at the level you want to be. And if you got people around you that are where you want to be, that's the kind of people you want to hang around, because a lot of times you get drugged down to whatever level you're at. So if you're around a bunch of mediocre people in the industry, you're probably going to be mediocre unless you're somehow a leader and you're pulling them out of that. So climb with climbers that are on a level you want to be at. Another thing is stay unbelievably organized. Have your gear ready to go before you arrive at the job site. And not only your gear, but have your work boots on, have your work clothes on, all that. Don't get there and start doing all this stuff. Have your stuff organized, because even you may be a little slower than some guys, but if you're more organized and you got your gear more ready and you get in the tree quicker and you're not chasing around your foot ascender and all this stuff, you're probably going to be more productive in the long run, So staying organized is really important. And I'd say learn when it's time to go slow and when it's time to put the jets on. And just certain situations, you want to go slow. We're pruning oaks. We got to paint the cuts for oak wilt. It's silly, I know, but sometimes you slow it down, because if you try to hurry and rush through that, you're going to break a bunch of twigs and you have to stop and paint them and all that. But other times you got a wide open tree, it's hazard prune, you can just run through it, or you got a big removal, it's total impact. The yard doesn't matter, bombs away, But you got some wires below you, slow down, make it easy for your ground guys. Don't just lower it into the wires and ask them to get it out. Set up, rigging lines or whatever to keep it away from that situation. And practice all things you need to improve at. Constantly evaluate your weaknesses and furiously attack them to improve. Sometimes it's best to practice on weekends so you're not wasting time on the job. So that's something that I've always tried to do, is I try to implement new stuff on the weekends when I'm wreck climbing to try to get better at it. That way I don't get on the job and I'm wasting time and I'm getting stuff stuck and messing things up. So just keep that in mind. It's especially throw line. Just go out and practice throw line if you're not that good at it. Get out of your comfort zone. I said safely. Remember, we grow through adversity, and that's all of us. We got to push ourselves out of that comfort zone to get better. If I see a lot of times people are they make a lot of excuses for not getting out of their comfort zone, but that's where you got to stay out of that to continually progress and get better, and you just have to face it, and this is something that's really kind of on my heart, is never enter a tree if you have equipment or gear in your drop zone. Move it first, and that should be a no-brainer, but it's not in this industry, and it wasn't for me for a long time. Move everything, if you got pole saws, throw lines, chainsaws, anything, any gear bags, move it before you get up the tree. Don't leave it in your drop zone. Don't drop anything on it. And I see a lot of waves. Is anybody there? What's up with everybody? Say hi. All right. Whatever tools you need in the tree, get them ready before you go up. Don't rely on someone else to get your chainsaw, your rigging line, your rigging block. If you need this stuff, get it out of the truck, take it to the tree, and I like to take it up with me. That way, my ground guy or my other climber, they can be doing something else. So it makes us a lot more efficient, And I kind of know what I need before I go up there, because that's part of my plan. I need to plan those things. So, and another thing is learn modern, efficient techniques. Progress as the industry progresses. And I just put in parentheses, guess what? You can even get better. Goes back to the first rule, staying humble. So just continually progress. Say, hey, there's easier ways to do this now, And another next on the list is, if your throw line skills stink, get a big shot. But continue to practice throw line on your own dime. And, I've seen guys spend an hour practicing throw line on the clock before, and they were going for this impossible union. I mean, this was the golden goose, It's the hardest one in the tree that's a 1 in 100 chance. And I'm like, if you just hit that one 10 foot below it, you could have climbed right up there and been in the tree an hour ago. So, I guess it's making good decisions with throw line. And what I try to do is hit stuff I know I can hit, and don't turn it into an ego thing where my ego won't let me. And I've done that before in a competition. A lot of y'all know me. One year I let my ego get the best of me, and I sat there and played throw line for 25 minutes, and I never got in the tree. And that was years ago, and it was a a great learning lesson. I heard in a book that you either lose, or you either win or you learn. And I really learned that day. I learned a lot of valuable lessons. All right, and educate yourself regarding tree biology and trees, and learn to verbalize that knowledge with, clients and everything. And that's just real important, because I didn't know either back in the day. I didn't know why I was making cuts, or what I was doing, or what the biological consequences of the cuts I was making, what impact they had on the tree. So it's good to know that stuff, explain it, educate your clients, and that way you can make more informed decisions when you're pruning trees. And that way you're just not doing what they want, because this is not an industry where the customer's always right. It's just not that way. They're not always right. I mean, because we're supposed to be the experts, so we got to come in and sometimes veto what they want. Like they want us to gut their trees or strip them out or whatever. We got to know trees well enough to be able to educate them and say, I don't think you want to do that, just because. And so that's something to really know, is your tree biology. And this is something that's kind of dear to me, because I'm 48 years old, and I've started doing this, a lot the last few years, and thank God for the competitions, because they've really spurred me to kind of do this. But try to take care of your body. What you eat, train, sleep, all that. You're an athlete. We are an industrial athletes. This job is hard on us. I got aches and pains and stuff, but I try to eat right. I try to sleep right. I work out. I train, and I just try to take care of my body, because I want to be able to do this till I'm 70. I want to climb at least till I'm 70. So I'm 48 now, and and use sharp equipment. Use the right tools. Don't beat your body up with dull tools and that kind of thing. So and use smart techniques, because there's so many techniques now that can prolong our career. So keep that in mind as well. Master the old school and new school techniques so you can be well-rounded. And don't be afraid to ask questions. And this right here, the old school, I've seen there's a generation coming up right now that is, on SRT, or what is it called? It's SRS, and they don't even know how to do moving rope. And sometimes you need it. And sometimes you may need to tie in with your tail. Sometimes you may get your ponytail stuck, and what do? You pull up your tail and tie in with it. So no moving rope systems as well. And try some moving rope systems too if you haven't. Try it with a friction saver or something, or a pulley saver, because I know top level guys, lots of top level climbers that still climb doubled rope or moving rope system, and they're really good. They're unbelievable. I've climbed with them. So yeah, it's never been about the technique or the climber or the equipment or any of that. It's the person, it's what it boils down to. There's guys who can get it done on a Blake stitch, dry crotching, it's just the way it is. If somebody wants it and they got that desire to be great, they can do it with any technique. It's just, they're probably going a little more tired at the end of the day, and they're going to work a little bit harder, but they can still get it done. Always look professional. Invest in some good chainsaw pants, boots. Always wear your PPE. And that's part of just being a pro. We all want to set ourselves apart and get paid good money and get respect, and we want our industry to get respected. So let's look the part. Let's play the part, all of us. Let's not try to look like cowboys. Heck, I remember in the 80s and 90s on my dad's cruise, I'd have no shirt on, be out there after I've been partying all night. And, that just, I look back on that, and I'm glad I made it through that. But I'm glad I'm not that way now. I really take pride in this job, in this industry, and I want to look the part, Plus, I want to be safe. So my guys, I buy them chainsaw pants and chainsaw boots, and we all wear them at work, even though they're not required in America or in the States. But we still do it, and we want to look sharp, and we want clients to respect us, and it's hard to get respect from people if you don't really look respectable, if that makes sense. And this is something that's near to my heart, is be kind to your ground personnel and fellow climbers, and remember they have your back if you need help in a rescue, and they have your back on the whole job site and completing it. And this is really important because I used to be just horrible to everybody around me, and I look back on it and I was like, gosh, man, it was like, what is wrong with you? And I used to blow up on other crew members and workers, and especially I remember back in the 90s just running guys off because I would blow up on them and I wouldn't communicate. And man, I'm just glad I've grown and become an adult, and hopefully turned away from a lot of that behavior, because we all gotta keep growing and moving forward as human beings. Be willing to pay things forward. Be willing to help someone who is coming up. And, people helped me. A lot of people showed me things, and I learned things from videos and from Tree Buzz, and just a lot of good guys who've helped me in the industry. And hardly anyone ever says no if you reach out to them thoughtfully. So, try to help someone else out that's coming up. And we don't have to be all competitive when it comes to this stuff, because we're all making the industry better, and the better we all make the industry, the better it is for all of us, because we can get the wages we deserve, and we can all make good money, and get the respect that we deserve for our job, because this job it's hard and it's dangerous or hazardous, and sometimes we don't get the respect that we probably should, but a lot of it falls back on us, because we got to play the part and we got to do it right. And another one is, do not cut corners. Remember, your reputation is on the line. And even when nobody's watching, try to do it right. I know we all make mistakes sometimes, but let's try to do it right. Make sure our reputation is important to us. What people think about us. And I say always follow the rules if possible, but first learn the rules. And there's still a lot of people out there that, especially in the States, that don't even know that ANSI standards exist. And that's shocking to me, but it's the truth. And so learn the rules, learn what's required of us, and let's try not to be cowboys. Let's not try to look cool and do wild stuff, just to get likes. That get attention. Let's try to follow the rules and be pros. Because when I see somebody doing something incorrectly on purpose just for attention, I'm thinking, everybody's like, I'm like, man, you can do better than that, And that's all I'm going to say about that, because I don't really want to judge guys, because I was one of them at one time, And train someone else to climb. Being a coach actually makes you better as well. And this is true in just about anything. When you teach someone, it actually helps you learn too. It actually helps you be more methodical in your thought process, and how you kind of have a plan and a process of learning, because you're teaching somebody else. You're having to think about it more, It says, show up on time with a clear head and always leave the drama at home. And that's, if you got drama at home, leave it in your vehicle before. I heard this a couple weeks ago at a workshop, and even I think the guy said, write it down. Any drama or anything, don't bring it on the job with you. Write it down, leave it in your vehicle, and then go to work. My buddy Carlos said that, the last of the Mohicans. Anyway, but it's just a good idea not to bring that stuff to work, because we don't need anything distracting us on the job site. And that's some of the times, well, just about every time I've seen an accident or someone get hurt is when they brought stuff with them, and they were distracted, And another thing is, as far as showing up on time, have your stuff prepared the day before. The night before, have all your stuff ready. Have your clothes laid out, your wallet, your phone, your keys. Make sure your truck has air in the tire or car. Make sure you have fuel. That way, and give yourself a little leeway when you wake up, so you show up on time. So these are just simple things, but I've kind of had to learn them over the years, like trying to be an adult, And anyway, what's next on our list? Okay, pack your lunch and make your breakfast and coffee at home before you go to work. And, I think with this whole coronavirus, we're probably all doing that right now because we're scared to go anywhere. So I guess that's a good thing about this thing lately is it's had me eating at home and bringing my lunch and making my coffee at home. But we all should do that every day. And that way you don't have to go to the store and eat crappy food, and all of that. So try to bring good food from home and bring your lunch, and then you'll just be a lot better off. Use your cell phone just sparingly and not for personal business while working. If we're out there working or if you're out there working, stay off your phones, And yeah, every once in a while we got a cool picture or something. But if everybody's busting butt and killing it and you're over there talking on the phone, that's just not cool, So let's keep your phone in your pocket, keep it in the truck. You need it in case you need to call emergency rescue or something like that. But anyway, is anybody still there? Let's see who we got here. That's Joey Cap. Yup, proper thinking is mandatory. Definitely. What's up, dude? So anyway, let's move to the next. Remember, always try to be the hardest worker in the room, or essentially on the job site. And challenge yourself and embrace the grind. And that's just, to me, like, I've always, since probably my 20s, I don't know what, I'm competitive. I want to be the hardest worker. I want respect, but I want to get the job done. And I've lightened up a little bit on that, but still, I have this desire to get the job done and get the job done well and get the job done fast. And I don't really want anybody outworking me. And if somebody does, more power to them, but they're going to have to earn it. And I think that's how we should all be on the job site if we're true professionals with this, And my dad he said, stay busy. Like my dad used to say, talk and work. Or maybe I said that. I don't know. I think he said that. But I see a lot of guys, they'll stop and they want to talk but I'm like, dude, just talk and work. We can talk, we can work, we don't have to stop and make eye contact and, high five or anything. I can keep working while you're working and we get things done a lot quicker that way. But it's cool that I can talk all day long and work. I mean, but just try not to stop on your breaks or your lunch or whatever, but just let's try not to waste time because at the end of the day, we want to get the job done and go home, Be a team player. Do whatever it takes to get the job done on time. And that's like, I'm the owner of the company, and you'll see me sometimes. I'm chipping brush, I'm pole sawing, I'm dragging limbs, I'm running rigging lines, I'm doing whatever it takes. Preferably, I like to be in the tree because I think that's the place where I can be the most successful on our job sites. But a lot of times I do other things. And so you got to be a team player. And whatever's required of you, just do it. You rake, you got to whatever, pick up stump grindings. Just do whatever it takes to be a team player on the job site. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about me or I or whatever. It's about all of us. It's about us being a team, getting this job done and going home safely. And the last one on this list is learn to use spikes when blocking down a spar or during entire removals. It's a skill every climber should master. And that, to me, that's just key. Some climbers up and coming are not learning to use spurs. And I think it's dangerous if you're on a spar without them. And I think it's a no-no. I think it's safer if you're using spikes. So just everybody make sure you're learning to use spikes on the job site. And I think that's all I got on my list, and I don't know if I can go back and rewatch this or whatever, but I am very bad on spikes. Well, you just got to practice, man. Just practice. Set a line. What you need to do is set a line and then have somebody belay you, and then just as you're getting belayed, practice that way. That way, if anything happens, you gaff out. I would show you a scar, but I got a scar I gaffed out once too, and it's about that long on my stomach, and it happened about 25 years ago, and it was a nub, and I gaffed out, and it just yeah, I made some interesting noises when that happened, you know. A lot of things happened back in my 20s, you know, and a lot of that was because this wasn't on straight, you know. So that's important. Thanks for sharing, bro. Good on you. Yeah, man. Yeah, you know, this whole coronavirus had me thinking, and I know we're probably all thinking the same kind of stuff, and I just thought it'd be cool to do something to kind of distract us a little bit, you know, and just get our mind off of that stuff, you know, and just, you know, have a little fun. So I appreciate everybody joining in with me, and I guess nobody has any questions that I see. Let me scroll through here. Man, there's a lot of people on here. I appreciate all you guys tuning in, checking this out. I've never done this before, and so wasn't sure how to really do it. What do you recommend for dealing with negative, productive coworkers? Man, that is how do I take this off? That's hard. You know, I've had to really deal with that myself. Well, me personally, I have to pray about it. You know, and because my first instinct is to be combative, and then I've been reading a lot of leadership books, and I'll even look up videos on YouTube on how to deal with them, because it's hard, and a lot of times we don't know what's going on in somebody's life to cause this negativity. You know, what battle they're facing every day when they come to work, or maybe they just hate the job. I don't know, but man, that's a hard one. I'm probably not qualified to tell it, but I think it's good to talk to them, you know, and try to encourage them, and even if you're not in a leadership position, to lead from the bottom in such a way by your example and how you do things. And man, I would just really try to research that, because I'm not an expert on that, because I haven't been that good with that. But I try to encourage people a lot, and I try to just give them value as a coworker, an employee, and build them up and encourage them. And sometimes that helps, but sometimes some people are just their cup is always half empty, and that's hard. It's hard for you to deal with when you're a positive person and the other person is negative, because you kind of like butt heads a little bit, you know, because your personalities are so different. So, but there's a lot of good books on there, and there's one, Jocko, the ex-Navy SEAL, and he's got this book about leadership. If somebody can tell me what it is, I can't remember it, but anyway, let's see what else we got here. What do you recommend? Oh, okay, sorry. I hope that helped. Wow, sorry, I'm still going on. I'm reading all these comments and everything, and wow. Well, you know, I think that's about it, and I appreciate everybody who joined in, and you know, hopefully all this coronavirus stuff gets straightened out, and I just refuse to worry. You know, I trust God, and I know that He's got a plan through all this, and I'm just not going to worry about it. But I am going to continue to pray for this whole situation, and hopefully it all works out for us, and hopefully by the summer this is all cleared up. But anyway, everybody take care, and I appreciate it.